the WWE SmarkCast. I'm going to be covering Raw, as nothing really beyond Raw happened. As you see, with a slight turn of my camera here, I'm showcasing my Kill Bill painting. So I did have to write this down, the stuff that happened on Raw, because there are a couple of rants. I don't know. I think I'll go ahead and start off before I get into Raw. I'll go ahead and start off on the news on TNA. Although breaking news, Austin Aries has tweeted that Spike and TNA have come to a deal, so it looks like they're going to be staying on Spike. They're going to be around for a while, which is actually what I predicted to happen in the end anyway. Is that in the end, Spike was going to say, "Oh no, we can't let these guys go," and get in there. Which, but it says a lot that it was just a rumor to begin with, a false rumor that Spike had canceled TNA anyway. But it says a lot that everyone automatically believed that this could happen, that TNA could be canceled. Like it was like there wasn't even anyone like, oh man, that can't be true. No, it was, everyone believed it automatically. Like if it came out tomorrow that USA has canceled Raw, everyone would be like, oh, I don't believe that. Let's wait till see what Vince McMahon says. TNA, complete opposite. It was just, it has to be true, which says a lot for TNA's product, because really no one cared, and that was a big problem. No one cared that they were gone. It's kind of sad because really, truthfully, TNA has one of the deepest talent pools. It's just that they don't utilize those people correctly. So, either way, I don't watch TNA. I watch once in a blue moon, and they really don't impress me. So, either way, it doesn't matter. I mean, I didn't want them to go out of business for sure. I wouldn't have minded them to be off Spike TV, because that would possibly set up Ring of Honor to get a TV deal. But that's just not going to happen now if what Austin Aries says is true. That's the way it is. Alright, so that's all I'm going to say on that particular subject, because honestly, it's not news. It's over. So, get to Raw. Raw opened up with a kind of elongated Cena promo, which wasn't that great until Paul Heyman came out, and then it got really good because they started going back and forth. And then Cesaro came out and dropped a few lines that was really great too. So the whole thing was actually really entertaining. It was a little long on Cena's end, and when Cena started getting passionate, it was pretty cool. It seemed though that he actually got a little angry for real when Cesaro said that you can't wrestle, and where did you get your shoes from Kmart, and started just dogging him. He did seem a little on the angry side, but that's alright. And this will lead me to a rant before I get to the Cena-Cesaro match that started directly after. So lead me to a little rant here about Brock versus Cena. I do want to see the match, and I do like the build-up they're doing for the match. The biggest thing here, though, is for WWE, this is a lose-lose situation. You can't win in this situation. They've painted themselves into a corner, and this is just not going to go over well no matter which way you do it. With Brock Lesnar, if Brock Lesnar wins, which is the lesser of two evils, which will cause the least amount of damage, you're going to have a lot of people angry that a part-timer has the title. I don't really want Brock Lesnar to have the title, because I don't want a part-timer to have the title, but at the same time, it's the only logical choice. It's bad. It's just a bad situation. But Brock Lesnar winning it, you're going to make a lot of people angry. You know, he comes in there, and he actually, if you look at his record since his return a few years ago, his record's not that great. He has only won 2 or 3 matches. But the marquee one he did was beating The Undertaker at WrestleMania, and this leads me to why it is a bad idea to have Cena win. If Cena wins, then you are essentially pissing on The Undertaker's legacy. You have this guy, this warrior, this entity that beat The Undertaker. He beat him at WrestleMania. Undertaker could not get the job done against Brock Lesnar. And then you have the very next match, you have Cena come in and beat him. And to me, that's like, well, Undertaker can't get the job done, but Super Cena sure can. And I don't like that. That to me is pissing on The Undertaker's legacy. So you're going to have a lot of people mad about that. And I would rather a part-timer have a title than have The Undertaker's legacy damaged. It's just, like I said, it's a bad situation. There's really nothing they can do to satisfy everyone in this situation. I mean, you could have a screwy finish where Cena keeps the title, but Brock Lesnar loses somehow. But no one wants to see that at SummerSlam. That's a big deal. And then you have the X Factor. You have Seth Rollins, which, to me, I want Seth Rollins to cash in, but it just wouldn't make sense for him to cash in. If Brock Lesnar wins, he comes in and cashes in on Brock Lesnar. That's an authority guy attacking what is essentially another authority guy. And even though I'm a huge fan of Seth Rollins, I think he is the future. He is a future world champion. He's going to be a big deal in the future. To me, they haven't built Seth Rollins up to be a threat to Brock Lesnar. So it just wouldn't make sense. Not to mention, if he cashes in and wins, he's still in a feud with Dean Ambrose. So does that mean Dean Ambrose gets thrown into the title picture all of a sudden? That's not going to happen. You're not going to have Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose in the main event. Even though they deserve it. It's just not going to happen. It's not logical. But it's a bad situation, which actually leads me to a fan question. My friend Darren, yes, we have the same name, at TrueNorth73. That's his Twitter. Follow him. He's a good dude to talk to. And he's from Canada. That's like exotic. Chicks dig accents. I'm pretty sure he has a Canadian accent. I don't know. I've never heard his voice, but I'm pretty sure he does. And chicks dig that. Chicks always dig accents. So yeah, totally. I'm trying, Darren. I'm trying to get you some chicks. Okay, anyway, he asked me how I think the Rollins cash-in should go down. Essentially, that's what he asked. I didn't actually write down the actual question like I usually do, but that's essentially it. And I can say, in all honesty, this is the hardest question I have ever received from a fan, ever. Because I can't see in the foreseeable future a time when he can cash in. I just don't see it. It's like I said, I think what would make the fans happy would be Cena wins, all the fans are mad, and then Seth Rollins comes in and cashes in and takes the title off Cena right after he wins it. I think that would make the fans happy, but like I said before, what are they going to do with Dean Ambrose? They are not going to throw him into a main event title shot like that. They're going to get rid of this feud, and then he's going to cash in. It's just like when Damian Sandow and Cody Rhodes were going at it. Damian wanted to cash in, and Cody kept stomping him. So that's what we've got right now. So it's not going to happen then. If Brock Lesnar wins at SummerSlam, you're not going to have Seth Rollins cash in on Brock Lesnar. It's not going to happen because he's just not a threat. And it just wouldn't make any logical sense. So, I mean, I would be okay with him cashing in on Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam and Triple H kind of doing his little, you really think that I was going to give the title to a Paul Heyman guy kind of thing. I would be okay with that. And then maybe they could injure Dean Ambrose, put him on the back burner for a while. But, I mean, even then, if you have Brock Lesnar win it, and the rumor is the supposed next person to have it is going to be Seth Rollins, or it's going to be Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. I mean, they're building this guy up to be the future, so do you think that they're going to give the title Roman Reigns and then take it right off of him from Seth Rollins? No. So, I mean, this could be the first time we ever see someone hold on to a briefcase until the next Money in the Bank, because the title picture is set until WrestleMania, supposedly. I mean, that's a tough one. So the way I see it going down is he holds on to it for a pretty long time and cashes in on maybe Roman Reigns. I mean, something like that, or God help me, I don't want this to happen, or he somehow loses the briefcase to someone who has a little more time in WWE. Because that's really the problem here, is that Seth Rollins has only been in there a little over a year. And that's, I mean, not counting NXT, of course, but so really he's not a threat to a lot of people, and that sucks. That's just the way they built him. So I hate to answer your question like that, Darren, but that's really it. I thought about it all night, and I don't know how I see it going down. This is one of those times where I really don't have any clue. I just don't see what they can do that would make sense and would work. So we will see. Let's just call it we will see. Moving on to Cena Cesaro. Excellent match. I read on Twitter many times, oh, now they're feeding Cesaro to Cena, or whenever Cena won, it was, oh, Cesaro just got buried by Cena. No! I mean, I had a lot of people talk about, where's Cesaro's push? Where's Cesaro's push? He was in there with the world heavyweight champion, and he put on a great show. Cena had to modify his finishing move to beat Cesaro. He had to do it from the top or the second rope to beat Cesaro. They just made Cesaro look like a beast. And that match was excellent. Not match of the night. Second best match of the night, but not match of the night. Alright, moving on to Paige and AJ. Paige still isn't that heel that I want her to be. Her promo was still a little boring. It was just like, no, yeah, we're still friends. And that's not what I want. I want anti-diva, evil Paige. That's what I want. And AJ came out there and killed it. AJ just she killed it on the mic, and then beat down Paige. So it was an excellent segment to further push the feud. So we're gonna get those two at SummerSlam for sure. After that, we had a Stephanie calling out Brie promo with Triple H, and Jericho interfered. Now, I'm on two sides of this promo. Number one, I loved it because it was old school Jericho. It felt great. It felt like old Raw, and it was the Jericho that I've been in love with since I saw him as the Thrill Seekers in Smoky Mountain Wrestling when I was like 10 years old. I've loved Jericho for that long. But the other half of it is why. It didn't make sense that he was attacking Triple H and Stephanie. It just didn't make sense. I mean, was he doing that to get what he wanted, which was a match with the Wyatts? Or, I mean, it was very confusing, because why are you attacking the Authority? The Authority has nothing to do with Bray Wyatt. So it led to Triple H giving him a match with Bray Wyatt at SummerSlam. It was a strange segment. It also led to Triple H making Seth Rollins versus Jericho for the main event, which we'll get to that. So it was a little weird segment. I liked it, but at the same time, it was kind of like, what was the point? Like, why are you attacking the Authority? Either way, I liked it a lot, though. Next, we had a Ziggler and the Usos versus Ryback and Miz. Essentially, this is setting up Dolph Ziggler versus Miz for the Intercontinental title, and what I believe... Okay, we'll get to Ziggler and Miz here in a minute. Let's talk about the Usos. This has happened many, many times in the WWE in the past years, because their tag division is not the strongest. So the Usos have beaten everybody. They've laid waste to all challengers. This means that the WWE is going to their bag of tricks, and they're going to pull out the same thing they do when this happens. Multi-man match. It's not going to be the Usos versus Ryback at SummerSlam. It's going to be the Usos versus Ryback versus someone else, probably the Wyatts, versus either Stardust and Goldust or Kofi Kingston and Big E. I'm hoping Kofi Kingston and Big E because I think that would be a great way to start their new Nation 2.0. And the reason why I think that it's going to be Kofi Kingston and Big E is because they were at ringside. However, they didn't do anything. It was really weird. They just stood there. So essentially they were decorations, and it just made no sense, and I didn't like that they were standing there. They should have done something. But this is what the WWE does. Is like, well, we don't want the Usos to lose, because essentially the Usos are the Cenas of the tag division. They're going to make made to be look super. Even their shirts look exactly the same as Cena's shirts. So you're going to have this multi-man match where the Usos are going to lose it and lose the title, but they're not going to be the ones being pinned. That's just what happens. And so it's going to be a multi-man match because they don't want them to lose. As for Ziggler and Miz, the hope here is that Ziggler gets the title at SummerSlam. I don't think it'll happen, but it needs to happen, because if any of you actually listen to the crowd whenever the Miz comes out, you don't hear anything. He doesn't get booed and he doesn't get cheered. No one cares about the Miz. They need to get that Intercontinental title off of him because he's not doing anything for it. Ziggler can do something for that title. Ziggler did get the win in that match, which was really cool. I dug that. Next, we had Bo Dallas losing to R-Truth, which for some reason really pisses me off. Why R-Truth? I mean, you could have had him lose to anyone else, and he lost to R-Truth. The only thing I can think of is they did it because they needed him to do the going psycho and beating down the guy who beat him, and you can do that with R-Truth because R-Truth isn't much of a threat to anybody. So I think it was just to do the full heel turn with Bo Dallas, because Bo Dallas was getting cheered last night until he started beating down R-Truth. So I think that's what's going on right now. I think it was just a turn, but in the end, I think it's going to end up hurting Bo Dallas. And honestly, I really don't want to see an R-Truth Bo Dallas feud. I mean, that's just not what I want to see. So, yeah, I'll skip on because I don't know how that one's going to go. Rusev and Swagger. This one's getting a little crazy. I did see that Lana did the Putin thing again, but it was a little different this time. It wasn't really talking about how great of a man he is and how much manlier he is than Obama and all that. She switched it up to just being like, oh, America sucks and Russia's better. And this just happens to be our leader. It wasn't really straight up in your face, Putin's a great man. So they quit that, which I'm actually happy for. And I like the way they're going now with the America sucks thing. That's cool. But this led to Zeb Coulter and Jack Swagger coming out. I'm still not sold on Jack Swagger, but I love Zeb Coulter. And he was saying what the American flag stood for. And I don't drink alcohol at all, but when he said the American flag stood for beer, that was awesome. I thought that was hilarious. And they talk about their flags a lot, which I know that I think at SummerSlam, Swagger is going to beat Rusev, but I don't think it's going to be by pin or submission. I think they're going to have a stipulation added, and the best option here, thanks to one of my boys at Wrestling Heads for reminding me of that this match existed, is a flag match, which that way Swagger can win without having to pin or submit Rusev. This makes Rusev lose, but does not hurt his character. Works out. That's what you need to do. Next was supposed to be Reigns and Kane, and Orton interfered, and this was the Orton I have always loved. This was the Orton that was in my top 5 for years. This was the Orton we need to see. He beat the holy hell out of Reigns, just drove him through a table and screamed at him the whole time, and it was great because that was the Predator that was so great, the Legend Killer. Not to mention, it is the first time since Reigns has been on his own that he got beat down. It is the first time he ever showed vulnerability. And the best thing that the WWE and Roman Reigns did with that entire segment was have Roman Reigns stay down. The commercial happened. They came back from commercial. He was still down. And that was the most beautiful thing they could have ever done. Because that keeps Reigns looking human. That keeps Reigns looking beatable. Which is what we need. We do not need another Cena. We don't need Tan Cena. We do not need Samoan Cena. We need someone who can be beaten. People are tired of Cena because he can't be beat. He is Super Cena. He doesn't sell nothing. The best seller in the WWE right now is Rusev. He is still nursing that ankle injury, which he wasn't even injured. He has just been limping on it for weeks, which is awesome. I love that. I love it when they sell injuries. And Reigns, he sold it. And what that did was raise my respect level for Reigns. For a long time, I said that Reigns is not ready. He can't be champion. Screw that. Mark it down right now. Darren has changed his mind. Reigns is ready. He can sell. He's not great on the mic, but decent. And in the ring, he can put on a show. He's not the best wrestler out there. He doesn't have a large move set, but he's young. And he can turn that out. The thing that he has is crowd reaction. When Reigns comes out through that crowd, man, the crowd goes nuts. And I'm not going to lie, I get goosebumps. Not like when Jericho comes out, but when he comes out, I'm like, oh man, I love the energy he brings. And people love him. So yes, I think he's ready. WrestleMania, him and Brock Lesnar, I'm down. I would love to see that, and I would love to see Brock drop it to Roman. So, just saying. He did a great job in that segment. Even though all he did was get beat down by Orton, he did fantastic. Next, this one I'm only going to spend about 5 seconds on. Fandango versus one of the Matadors. I don't care. And that dumb bull. Can we just end the Summer and Layla thing? I'm not enjoying it. I don't like that they're with a different face every week. I'm not enjoying it at all. I don't like it. I think it should go away. I think Summer is above this, and we all know Layla's not going to be around forever. She's already said she's not signing a contract. So I just want this to end. I don't like it. I want Summer to wrestle. I don't want her to be a valet. Layla, she can be a valet all she wants. She's good in the ring. But the fact is, Summer and Layla is just WWE trying to rehash Lay Cool, and you can't do that because Lay Cool was awesome. Lay Cool was great because you had Michelle McCool. Summer Rae is fantastic. Layla is decent. Just end it. And if you're not going to do anything with Fandango, just release him. I'm going to go ahead and say release Adam Rose too, because if you're not going to do anything with him, what's the point in him being on contract? He's boring. He doesn't do anything. He comes out there, does that stage dive, gets back in there, does a few kicks, does his finishing move, and pins the guy. It's the same thing. Do something with him or let him go. Or send him back down to NXT. Let him be Leo Kruger, for Christ's sake. Please. Do something with Adam Rose and do something with Fandango. Both of these guys, believe it or not, can go in the ring. Fandango's amazing in the ring. Johnny Curtis is awesome. But they ain't gonna do anything with him. So, next, we had Cameron and Alicia Fox versus Natalya and Naomi. Natalya barely was in there. It was mostly about Naomi and Cameron, and Naomi made Cameron tap at the end. She tapped out. That usually spells the end of a feud. That is just a significant thing to do. When someone taps, they give up. That should be the end of this feud. Move on. Let Naomi go somewhere else. And just send Cameron back down to NXT or something. Because Cameron is horrid. She is awful. I mean, I would keep Alicia Fox over Cameron any day. But that has to be the end of this feud. The sad thing is, I don't think it is. I think we're going to see another match with them at SummerSlam. Oh well. Alright, enough about that. I don't even want to get started on Cameron. Next we had the amazing match of the night, Jericho versus Rollins. It was really good. There were some points where Jericho was a little slow, but I mean, he's been gone for a little bit, and he's getting up there in age. So, and Rollins could make the Flash look slow. Rollins is really, really fast in WWE terms. I mean, he's no Ricochet, but Well, you may not know who Ricochet is, but just YouTube him. It's awesome. But it was still a great match. It told a story, and I thought it had the perfect ending. And with TNA can take a clue from this ending, because at some point an interference is okay to end a match, because you don't want Rollins to look weak, you don't want Jericho to look weak, so you end the match in an interference. You have the Wyatts come out and beat down Jericho. Perfectly okay. Good ending. It's the right ending. Dean Ambrose coming in and destroying Rollins would have been the same thing. It would have been great. Speaking of which, where was Dean Ambrose last night? He wasn't there at all. So Jericho and Rollins, that's a feud I want to see in the future. It won't happen this year, because after Night of Champions, Jericho's going to be going back on tour. So for at least 6 months, because it's a new CD. But you know, that's something I wouldn't mind seeing in the future. It was a really good match, and for two guys who have never been in the ring together ever, that match was stellar. I mean, that was a brand new match for them, and it was awesome. And finally, to close the night, we had Divas. Crazy. We had the Stephanie and Brie closing thing, where I called it at the beginning of the night. I said that Brie would get her job back to drop the charges, and that's exactly what happened. She also got a raise for Nikki and a match with Stephanie at SummerSlam. So what I see happening here is, I think Stephanie may need to go over Brie here, and I think it needs to happen with Nikki causing it, with Nikki kind of heel turning, but also at the same time that may be a little too soon. Brie versus Nikki is something that I want to see maybe at WrestleMania, not at SummerSlam. But it would make sense, because I know a lot of people are really excited about this match. I am. I'm excited for the build-up. But I also remember seeing Stephanie in the ring when she wrestled, and it was not good. It wasn't. She's no Trish Stratus or Lita. She's very botchy, very uncoordinated. And now she's older, so it's going to be a little weird. I don't see that being match of the night. I think for SummerSlam, I'm going to change that. I think we need Brie to go over, because it's about that time. And since the Authority is going to have probably Brock Lesnar walk out with the championship, they're going to need the Authority to be beaten somehow, and Brie can do that. Brie can come out, win it, and make everyone happy. So it's going to be an interesting SummerSlam. SummerSlam is shaping up to be pretty excellent. I'm actually looking forward to Cena and Brock Lesnar. For those who don't remember, they've actually had some pretty great matches. And I really hope that Cena does not walk out with that belt, because it doesn't make sense. But either way, it's shaping up to be a good one. But that's it for my WWE SmarkCast. Sorry it's so late, but I have been watching something, and if you want to know what that is, you're going to have to tune into the next SmarkCast that I'll be filming right after this one. So, if you have any questions, comments, anything, all my stuff will be in the description, but just for habit purposes, I am Darren. My email address is smarkcast@gmail.com. My Twitter is @-Darren. You shoot me a line anytime. I love questions, love comments. And that'll do it. We actually made it under 30 minutes today, people. All right. Awesome. Anyway, thanks for watching.